Hey, how's it going? So, I just had some things I wanted to share with people, and the first was I have started sharing what I pay attention to online, and I've noticed that it's made some people flee. But it reminded me of my friend Abel, who a while back, like it seems like over a decade, it has to be now, he kind of said goodbye to everybody on the punk rock scene on social media, and because he was gonna like devote his life more to like being a Christian, to religion. And I remember that I also recoiled from him, but just sort of like the way I just did. Like our relationship didn't change at all because we weren't in constant contact, you know. But I wasn't all, ew, get away, you know, but it had a cooling effect on me and other people I know. I don't know. I just feel like they probably reacted the same way that they're reacting to me now, because I just want to highlight my signs back there, the green ones, or all of them. I hope that's good enough. I know the light is terrible, but I'm not going to fix it anymore because I don't want to. So anyway, back to Abel and the religion thing and me. So I'm not exactly like the religion guy, though. I think whatever it is that's making people flee, I'm not sure they understand exactly what it is. And I think the thing that makes it even more difficult to understand is that mine has space people. And that's fine, because I can extrapolate my thoughts to a place where, I don't know if extrapolate's the right word, but it might be, to a place where what I'm saying makes absolute sense to me. And I mean, go ahead, call me and call me crazy. I was getting that before I let any of this out into the air. It's new to me too, a lot of it, but just like I was just saying, I feel like it really aligns with what I feel about things in general. And so it just happens to be that the connection that I don't think is getting made, or that, well, it probably is actually. I shouldn't like underestimate the understanding of people, because I was demonstrated a while ago that they absolutely do understand what I'm saying. But it's not the aliens and the humans versus humans and like God and Jesus or Allah or Buddha or however you refer to the higher consciousness that is like the creator of all things. And even outside of the context of organized religion, well, it just sounds weird. I'll grant that. I'm not I'm not saying it don't sound weird, but it didn't take me long to get around the weirdness of it. And because none of that is separate, everything is all one thing, and it's a pretty basic concept. If you believe that there is some sort of greater intelligence, force, being, however you conceptualize it, if you think there's something like that out there that sort of made everything and still, you know, pulls the strings, then hopefully you can just sort of detach it from whatever pre-existing reality in your mind you have about that being in question, and just understand that it's everything to all people. So that's probably why there's different named gods that are pretty much the same being. Or, that things just didn't. Well, I mean, I guess you could say things did just appear out of nowhere, but not like without cause or direction. It's not just random poof, all this intricacy and huge grandeur of life and everything that exists, just random. No. I don't. This is my belief, let me just say so. Or, this is my feeling, opinion, commentary. Opinion, commentary. But, to me, it's not separate. Like, the example I referenced earlier was someone I know that I hadn't talked to in a while. I think they were trying to casual their way in, because there was like a prior post that didn't say anything or reflect whatever came later at all. And then like the next one was like, aliens are not Jesus or God or something like that. And I was like, okay, I didn't say they were, but basically my feeling is, if you believe that there's a God that created everything, then those are included in the creation. And it's crazy to think this all-powerful God can't include something that you're not aware of being a real thing. So, that. But the thing about it is, even if it's totally going to church, like, a lot, and, living by the strictures of whatever religion you are a part of, I mean, somebody's got to fill that role too, right? But that's not what I'm doing. Like, I haven't set foot in a church in many, many years. And because I was raised Catholic and I'm living in this Christian country, they barely even bother with the Judeo anymore, and I'm not sure how that's reflected in that terminology, but that's a whole other thing. Put that over here. I don't want to talk about that right now. But even if I did, that wouldn't effectively change a dang thing about the me who I am, like, I'm still gonna like my weird sci-fi stuff. I'm still gonna be a punk rocker. I'm still gonna be me, like, but I have a complicated feeling about the whole church, the church, and if you know any of its history, you would understand why I grew a suspicion. But then there's other stuff that's concurrent, topical, current era, not that long ago, that it's not a good look. And so, just like the Bible, that I have learned later in my life that it's a lot of symbology, and there's so many layers of understanding to it. But I know that when I was learning about it, when I was like in the Catholic school and you went to church, and then when you weren't at the school, you also still went to church on the designated day. But it just didn't make sense. Of course, I was very young. You have to take that into consideration. But then years later, you hear stuff over and over again as you get older, and your perception and understanding deepens. And still, I was like, man, this thing is crazy talk. But then, thanks so much. As I again evolved, grew older, whatever, I came to realize that it was not written at the time of the things they were talking about, like, at all. And it was very much hearsay or telephone game verbal confusion and just years of reinterpretation and going through different people's filters. And so that's why it's all over the place. And it's got the messages that the overall thing is meant to convey from Jesus and various other characters in the stories and God. So like knowing what I know now and then thinking of years of people that I don't think they don't sound like they're looking at it the way that I just described it. Like they are seeing this other thing that I just take it literal, and now I go, how can you? How do you do that? But that's also not me is what I'm saying. So it's fun and exciting, like the angel stuff. I post angel messages once in a while, and they're inspirational. But what these ones are talking about are not the same as other ones that I've seen. So anyway, I just think that there's other ways to look at what I was talking about, and people experience spirituality in so many ways, and it's wonderful. Like I see no reason to judge it or want anyone else to stop what they're doing unless it's creating, like, it's hurting and killing people. But other than that, do what you will, So then the other thing that came up, speaking of that kind of stuff, because I have been watching some sort of I would categorize it as religious, because I don't really have like a better way to just say it in the moment right now, but it's things like Dolores Canyon hypnotic regressions of people, and then there's a series she has that talks about it's called Walking with Jesus, and it's about his time with the Essenes, which is a people in the Bible. Like they're from a place. So the thing that's special about them, though, is they're who he stayed with when he was going to school, which, from the sound of it, is a full-on mystery school. Fascinating. And it's not even that the people she's talking with are channeling Jesus himself. They're just people that were peripherally around him at that time. So it was a lot of stuff went on during that period, and so Dolores Cannon, had a lot of questions to ask the patients who were regressed. And so that is fascinating to me. And then, like, just other things that if I click on it and just the title draws me in for whatever reason, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is from the what's it called, like the animated Bible or something like that. So just weird stuff. Or like there's something I plan to watch later about Enoch, because I'm not real clear on what that guy's whole deal was. It's been a long time since I heard the stories. I just want to brush up my knowledge, but it just sounds interesting. Like, the stories are good. But, so I clicked on one of those things, and it was talking about patience, and that is something that I have had trouble cultivating in myself for years. Like, I just haven't found, like, a couple of the keys to finish that Jenga puzzle or whatever, because I haven't had it very well. I don't have great control of it. However, I saw this thing, and all of a sudden, it's talking like, I don't know, platitudes, or, oh, there's a word. Oh, shoot. Maybe I'll remember it while I'm talking, but it's definitely a word I heard in church all the time, because it's one of the things they read to you about from the Bible. There's like parables and Psalms and all these things, so it's a title like that, but homilies? Maybe it's homilies. But anyway, it was relating one of those, and it was talking about patience, and the thing that made it kind of click for me was, if you're impatient, then you're like second guessing God or the plan, because as I was saying in something I was watching right before I started doing this from the Arcturians, the Ninth Council, they were talking about well, okay, let me tell you the first one, and maybe I'll remember the second one again. But like second guessing God and trying to rush things, and that was basically what the Arcturians were talking about. And they say it a lot, but in this particular context, they were talking about, not trying to hurry through your experience, because the reason why you're here is to experience the experience. And, again, it's that split brain thing where you gotta think, and when I say you, I mean me. I'm not telling anybody to do anything, but you're having the experience at the same time that you're on a level, I want to be doing this. Even if it feels really crappy, like, yay, that's amazing. Because where we come from, when we're not here, that is not the experience. So it's just like living a duality in the moment, and just trying to get your two hemispheres of your brain, like, to collude. What the heck were the Arcturians saying? Oh, well, going back to what I was saying earlier, they talked about, I watch those channelings because they resonate with me. What they're saying has made what I was saying earlier that looks crazy make sense. So they were saying that when we ask for something, like, we could ask them, or we could ask Jesus, or we could ask any of the other names that I mentioned earlier, because it's all the same, it's all of a piece. They said that when you ask for something, you only have to do it once, but it's good to be sure what you are asking for. Like, I've talked about this before too, thinking of that monkey's paw story. Like, you gotta be real specific, because what you ask for is gonna have repercussions. And so part of what they're saying is, you can ask them just like you could ask any of those other names, because they're all ready, willing, and able to grant the request. But the thing is you got to have your vibration in the right place, and by that they mean, like, not asking. And then, God, that's the second time that came up just even today. I've been up for like an hour and a half. But having your vibration right, part of that is the motivation for why you want it. And the other thing that I just remembered on the same subject was Kalina Malnar, which I'll link here to this in the information box. But if you want to be famous, for example, well, right there, that's a strike, kind of, because there's no nothing about that is like non-egoic, so that's already kind of a lower-ish vibration, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. But if it's just what you want for like money and all of the perks that go along with it, that perhaps gets you in trouble later in a Me Too kind of way because you start feeling entitled, all kind of low vibration reasons for wanting to get famous. And I say that well aware of what I'm doing and sitting here, but I would like you to notice how hard I'm not really trying to get famous. So anyway, going back to the asking and the praying for things and the requests being granted, you gotta have your vibration right. You gotta have your motivations on the up and up, or it's like you're not in the right state of mind of being to receive what you're asking for. So that's why it may take years for something to happen, because it's not about the other end that you're asking that's taking long. It's whatever you're doing on this end that's making things take long. And that's part of the process. Like, that's how things go, like until we realize stuff, we have all this other stuff happen that end up cumulatively, I hope, with making stuff make sense to where you go, oh, okay, don't do it for that reason, do it for this reason if you want to do it at all. That's part of the why we're here and the experience and all of that. And so, back to the Arcturian space people, you don't have to ask God necessarily, because these particular beings are at a vibrational level where they're bestowed the ability to grant the wish, and it's about helping us go through our time here. It's like a whole concerted effort. Okay, so but yeah, like rushing things and second guessing spirit, that's what finally clicked. Like, I think I might have a handle now on the impatience, because I realized, like, well, wait a minute, something else I learned recently, and I should have known this because of my now understanding of time, such as it is, in the framework of the way we humans, well, have it for one thing, and also understand it. Outside of here, it's all happening at the same time. Not that there's three things happening at once somewhere, but like, wherever you are, it has already happened, or it's gonna happen, or it is happening. So being impatient, like wanting your wish to hurry up and happen, or your need, or whatever it is that you have prayed or requested for, like, just wait. You don't have to ask a million times, like the Arcturian said, and maybe, like, if you write down what you would like to ask for, you can be that much more clear about it and make it easier for them to grant your need. So, but the impatience thing, like, oh, okay, like, I'm now in the state of mind where I can be like, okay, I can, like, not worry about it and trust the plan because it's already happened, in a sense. And I already asked, and shut up and get out of the way and give it time to happen. Like, maybe in the waiting, you got to be doing something that's going to be toward that end that you so desire. And that right there, I was like, okay, that's a reason to, like, listen to the teachings that I have learned and actually put them into practice, and take those deep breaths and go ahead and be patient. And you can take the time and deal with whatever it is that you want to hurry up and get through that's totally annoying and getting in the way of what you really want to be doing. That's part of it. That's part of the plan. So however you make your way through the annoying thing that's in the way, that's going to make a difference. Like, don't be so annoyed. You got time. Just, finish what you're doing. Get it done right. Don't worry about the other thing. It's like a boiling pot. You ain't got to watch it. You know what I'm saying? So, that. And then, oh, yes. So, I had an opportunity that I didn't take, and it was one of those I knew it and I didn't do it situations. You know what I mean? Like, I thought of it the first time and then I questioned and second guessed myself, which is part of that not messing with the plan thing too. Like, don't worry about how it's looking coming at you, because what you asked for may not manifest in exactly the way you asked for it anyway. Like, hi, kitty. Ooh, kitty, don't knock over the lamp. So, but it'll be what you need, and also what you want, but let Spirit handle it. Spirit knows what's happening. You knows more than we do. They can see the future. Or the potential, because it depends on what we do. There's so many factors to be considered in this. Like, I don't think I could be God. That's too much work. Oh my goodness. So many little details. They say the devil's in the details. God's in the algorithm. God's in everything. All the rest of the stuff. So yes, take the advice. I had an opportunity to listen, and not only was I full on just warned that this could happen, I just said, meh, it's fine. I just decided to blow it off and let it pass. And I had a reason for doing that, but I should have listened the first time, because my friend came over, and that shelf behind me there, you see, I have a candle. The candle is sitting in the lid of a can. And the lesson here that I didn't listen to was, when I'm not recording, that this laptop is where that candle is, and then the candle goes up to the upper shelf. Well, that's a different shelf. I took it from it's a modular, so I grabbed another top part because I had a candle just sitting right on the plastic. And my friend came by and she's like, oh, do you want me to put this candle out? And I was like, no, that's okay, I'm going back in there, which is true, and I did, and it was fine. And I left it like that, and I'm well aware of fire and wax and plastic and the problems that can arise if they get together. But I have a couple of hundred of those same candles that only, like, they burn down, and then there's like this much candle cob left, and they die. So I had no reason to think that it was going to burn all the way down, but 2 days later, it did. And all that time, I could have put something under it. In fact, when I first started putting them up there, I was like, I should put something under it, and I don't know why I didn't. It's not like I'm against it. And then, since I didn't and nothing happened, I just left it. And when my friend came by and said, you want me to put that out? I should have said, yes, go ahead and put that out. And then I could have set myself on a track of, pay attention to that, because it could catch fire and burn up. So yesterday morning, thankfully I was awake. It was about an hour earlier than it is now. So again, I was up at dawn's crack ass. And I'm sitting over, I'm pointing to my living room. I know, it's over there. That's what I said. I showed. So, and I don't know, I guess I was watching something, of course. And I see, it's like dark, right? It's kind of dark in here, and I've got some blue fairy lights and another candle going in there, and then the one that was going in here. 2 days after my friend said, "You want me to put that out?" I start seeing on my peripheral vision something flickering and dancing and going like this, and it's all yellow, and I go, that can only be one thing, and I know what's over there. That candle! What I was concerned about was the cedar branch that I had hanging above it. I was like, oh, no, that can't go, because it is already all I have to do is look at it and needles fall off that thing. I'm saying it's dry. And you see it's not up there anymore. It did not catch fire, but the shelf did. And so it was small. I got over here in time and I just smothered it. It wasn't a big deal, except for the melt was a mess and got everywhere, including on the top of this laptop. I still have to like pick off bits. See, they're in my palm. This is an awkward position, and much bigger bits and flakes, and so it was a very humbling experience. I mean, dumb. Could have burned up and died. Shh, don't tell my landlords. But the reason I'm telling you is, listen, the first time someone is telling you something to like be safe for you, out of they want to protect your life basically, and don't just shrug that off. That could have not gone as well as it did, and I'm so thankful it went as well as it did. So anyway, those were just some little things that I wanted to relate. Thank you for indulging me. It's early in the day, so you may actually get the card reading as well. And dang it, I've been trying to work up to this other. I haven't done a Spirit TV critic video in a while because I was waiting for the other camera to arrive, and then it arrived and there's problems with it. But I have a movie in mind that I want to totally talk about because I was very affected by it, and so maybe I'll get that out today. I hope so, fingers crossed, because I've been wanting to do it for a while. Anyway, enough about me. Have a good day. Thank you and good night. Can't see.